Welcome back. Welcome back to Underrated. Welcome back. Welcome back to Sweet Cinema. My name is Alton Henry, and today I'd like to talk to you. Just basically what I'm going to be doing for what the purpose of this YouTube channel. And I don't think it needs to be a long video. To be honest with you, I think I'm just getting my thoughts on what the channel is going to be about. And I had a YouTube channel for a few years, actually for several years. I just didn't know what to do with it. I didn't have much equipment to do anything with it. But basically, I'm going to be talking about movies that nobody really talks about, or gets hate on, or gets crapped on, or whatever the reason. And I kind of wanted to not necessarily say analyze. Maybe I might do some analyze on certain films or certain film shows or anything to kind of get a different perspective on it. Maybe right when a certain film came out, when it released, maybe there was just a lot of backlash on what the message of the film was, or just the production, or just anything that just caused the film to be forgotten. And I'm here to basically say, you know what, this movie shouldn't be forgotten. It's a great film, a great movie, and it needs to be discussed more. So that's kind of basically it. Anything close to mainstream, I might not really cover, except maybe if it's close to geek news. Just like I've done the recent Fairly Odd Parents scenario, and the Zack Snyder's thing I did last month. And really is just to really cover just smaller to like lesser known movies, from independent to films that just basically just flew under the radar, or that just got a lot of hate. And trust me, there's movies that have gotten a lot of hate, and you kind of go back to it. Yeah, there's some criticism to it, but you know what? It left an impact on me, and it's something I think it needs to be discussed. Like films like Prometheus, Ridley Scott's 2012 somewhat prequel, Alien, somewhat whatever it is he's trying to do with it. I mean, I don't think he even knew. Midsummer, which you see up there, that is the director's cut DVD right there. Which people compare that film to Ari Aster's Hereditary, and honestly, I think this film might be a little bit better. And, well, like films I covered with Death Proof, which is, I think, it's a very severely underrated horror film that it doesn't get talked about. But point is, you see my point. Films nobody really talks about, I'm here to talk about it, to get you to go back, to revisit it, and to really consider, you know what, this is actually a pretty good movie. I'm not really big on trends, man. Trends make you feel like you have to be part of something that you necessarily don't want to be a part of. But fortunately, you have to be a part of it for people to like you. Honestly, I'm not really like that. And I never was a person like that you have to follow a certain trend. Now, there's a certain way you have to do just to kind of just, I guess, live through life. But that just wasn't for me. There's just, like there's just films out there that tries to be different from everybody else, whether it's theme, style, however it is. I think these films need to be revisited, retouched, and really kind of analyzed. Like, you know what, I admire what this director has done, or this artist, the storyteller, has done to really do something different. Like Zack Snyder and the whole Zack Snyder Justice League thing. He tried to do something different, and I think fans are really appreciating his work a lot more compared to what they're trying to do now, making it more into a trendy topic by making it similar to Marvel. And to be honest, when films do that, I tend to not go back to them. That's just me, because it just feels like it's just it feels like you're just copying and pasting with the same formula, but you're not doing anything unique about it. Now, if you're copying and pasting and trying to do certain things here or there to tweak it to make it, I don't know, different. Let's say like Joker took pieces from Martin Scorsese's movies and put it into a film. They labeled it as Joker, and they added certain things in the film where, honestly, and that film wasn't too bad. Actually, I liked it, but it loses its replay value knowing certain things about the Joker character, and then, you know, but I understand they try to do things realistically with that film. I actually wonder if Ben Stiller could have directed that film than Todd Phillips, because imagine, you know, because he did The Cable Guy, which is one of my favorite comedies ever with Jim Carrey, and that I need to talk about. That movie, oh my God, it's an underrated comedy. The Cable Guy. Shout out to anybody who's seen The Cable Guy, let me know. Something like that. Jim Carrey delivered a very funny but also terrifying performance as Chip Douglas, the Cable Guy, or so he say that's his real name, terrorizes freaking Matthew Broderick's character. The movie's like almost like 30 years old, made like in 1995. That's an underrated comedy. It's a dark comedy. And that film is still funny to this day. I cannot get enough of that film. That's probably my favorite Jim Carrey film. And I know I heard people got weirded out with that film because of just how weird and unsettling his performance was in that film. And honestly, he was great. I'm surprised, you know. He's basically Ace Ventura, but more sinister. It's also a thriller. It tries to do something different, like, you know, like and you know, others Ben Stiller's work with Tropic Thunder, and, you know, just films that try to do things differently. Even actors that get typecast in a certain role, yet they try to do a different kind of role or a different genre. Adam Sandler used to doing those comedies. He's getting older now, so he's kind of like, I don't want to be a laughingstock no more. He did Uncut Gems and the Meyerowitz Stories. His ass is pretty good as an actor. Really good. Given the right material. And honestly, I preferred that he would have been nominated and won for the Oscars than Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, he's still cool, man. Don't get me wrong, but Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems, man. Watch that freaking film. I think it's still available on Netflix. That's an underrated film. Oh my God, that movie. It's one of my favorite crime films. Adam Sandler, like, godly. And I can understand when these movies try to be different. It could be more graphic. They can be more gritty. It could be just more out there that people might not be able to feel comfortable watching it. And, you know, there's certain films that they try to push the envelope where, you know, you might not feel uncomfortable. You might not feel comfortable watching. There's a lot of A24 horror films I was not comfortable watching, but it pushed that envelope. Glass, or the East Trail 177 trilogy, a superhero trilogy on its own. It's probably the most realistic superhero films I've ever seen. And that film gets overshadowed by Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. I just got news for the Batman that's going to come out next week. Critics are saying that's probably the most realistic Batman film. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But the East Rail 177 trilogy, M. Night Shyamalan's trilogy thriller with James McAvoy, Bruce Willis, and Samuel L. Jackson, is the most realistic superhero trilogy I have seen. And nobody's talking about it because they don't like M. Night Shyamalan's style. And the way he pulls it off, I find it genius. And nobody's giving him credit for it. Nobody. Now they kind of are, because now, like, when Unbreakable came out, like 10 years later, people are going back to it. It was like, wait a minute, this was actually a pretty good superhero film. And I don't remember much of the advertisement. It was like 2000. I guess when the film was being advertised, it was just advertised as some sort of thriller. But I guess when people watched it, it was a superhero film. It was like, wait a minute, is this a superhero film? Wow. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You're watching a superhero film. You never knew. You think you're going to see a movie and thinking about it one way. When you go watch it, it turns out it's something completely different. And I actually loved it. I actually love that kind of style. Maybe being sold something. You're basically being sold a lie just to get you in the seat. And I actually like that. Unless, they're advertising certain scenes in the movie and you go watch the film and that scene that you wanted to see is not in the film. Quentin Tarantino's movies, I'm not calling it out. I'm just saying for what it is. Until this day, there's scenes from Inglourious Basterds I would love to check out, and I'm never going to see that. I'm never going to see the scenes that was advertised in the teaser trailer, and they're going to put it back in them. I'm never going to see that. It's been over 10 years. I'm never going to see that. I would love to. I would love to. And that movie doesn't get talked about anymore. I mean, the movie's decades old, but hell, nobody really referenced it. I mean, I get it. Now it's all trendy. Star Wars, superheroes. Next thing you know, it's probably going to be video games adaptations. We're going to probably get those nailed very well. Like, I just heard news of the BioShock. Netflix is going to adapt BioShock. I am extremely worried about that. Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. I think the best way for them to pull that off, if they add like A24 horror vibes and science fiction with a mixture of, a little bit of Denis Villeneuve with a combination of, what's that horror film? I can't think of it. Oh man, I don't know. I can't think of it. But they would need good directors and good writers to oversee. They nail that project. But that's basically what my show, my YouTube channel is going to be about. Just basically talking about movies that nobody really gets talked about. Even some, Netflix. There's people out there that I guess have a tough time to figure out what to watch. Well, I'm here to tell you what you should watch based on what you like, what you've seen, and I might challenge you to say, check this out. This is something different. I actually like watching movies with my mom. I'll try to show her something different, like a different movie. She sometimes, actually most times, she's like, I can't watch the movie. I can't take it. She's like, this movie's just too weird, or it's too something, or and I find it hilarious. Like I just laugh every single time. I forgot I showed her this. I forgot what movie it was, and she didn't. I think it was Only God Forgives, and I wanted to show it to my dad. And like 30 minutes, she was like, I'm done. This movie's slow. I can't get into it. I don't know what's going on. She was like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I was laughing. It was so funny to laugh when my dad reacted. When he got through the film, there were certain parts I did skip. He just sat there, just looked at the film kind of mad. He was like, AJ, I didn't like this film, man. I don't. He was like, "Oh my God, why did you maybe waste time to watch this movie? Like, why would you?" It was a challenge. It was a challenging film for him. I knew he probably wasn't gonna like it, but I was like, "No, I want to show you this movie." I just knew, But hey, since people like challenges, we like challenges. Why not, especially with movies, I challenge you to watch a different kind of film. One that you may not be accustomed to. It might change your life. You may never know. Because there's certain pieces of art that can change a person's life just by the message. You just never know. Like I gotta be honest with you. Even though I like the action a lot better in Saving Private Ryan, spiritually, the Thin Red Line, I like the Thin Red Line a lot more than Saving Private Ryan because it was experimental. I'm not saying Saving Private Ryan wasn't, because they got this half-hour prologue action sequence of the Omaha beach scene, and then they finally dive into the plot, which is bold. But Thin Red Line's a lot more bolder because it's really, I mean, there's kind of a protagonist in there you follow, but you're focusing on these other characters and their flaws and their questioning about why they have to be in the war and their own perspectives, and it feels like poetry. But the movie feels disjointed, but it just feels like it flows like kind of like a poetry. You kind of feel spiritually connected to it. I did. I mean, the movie, it resonated with me a little bit more than Ryan, but I found it to be much more intriguing than, Saving Private Ryan, even though I think that film should have won Best Picture too. Then I never seen Shakespeare in Love. I don't know, but then. And there are films that does try to do things differently, and they just disappear. But there are other filmmakers that say, this movie inspired me, I want to do this, and they'll just copy that film to make it better for mainstream audiences. You're the Dragon, which is an offensive kind of film. It is an offensive film. You have a protagonist who basically is a racist effer, but he's the hero of the story. If you see that film, and you can watch it for free on YouTube, actually, and I recommend you check it out. And even with 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is supposedly a sequel spin-off to the original Cloverfield, it's safe to say it's a spin-off because it doesn't really connect to the original film, and it does something completely different. I actually liked it a lot better than the original Cloverfield. The original Cloverfield grew on me a little bit. It grew on me. Like I could say that film was pretty good because it delivered anxiety and tension I haven't really felt in a lot of films. And I really enjoyed it. The first time, I didn't. I was like, I didn't like it, but over time, it grew on me. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Which was strange that a film does that. But hey, some films just stay with you. So yeah, that's kind of basically what my channel is going to be about. Just films nobody really talks about. Maybe even anime as well, if I have time to sit down and watch a series or whatever. I'm not going to do any long animes. No. And I won't do too much of them because, I just don't have time to binge watch a lot of shows or, unless I'm getting paid to do it. I would love to do it just for free, but hey, if I also get paid, if I can make a living for it, then I'm good, man. I'll give you all the kind of content you want, except for, the naughty stuff. But yeah, comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Welcome to my channel. I know, even though I've been posting some videos on this for quite some time, I just haven't been consistent on it. But please continue. I hope you enjoy, and welcome.